I have to confess that I'm in the middle of a heavy flu. And 2 days ago I could barely even get up and get to the bathroom with fever, and you know the story. So forgive me if I'm a bit, coffee and have to blow my nose every now and then and stuff.
I'm surprised you're even here.
Oh, the show goes on.
We know it'll still be inspired playing.
Well, I'll do my best, for sure. I want to thank Shahi Raz for allowing me to be here. I want to thank John, a good friend and brother, who also has been a huge supporter and actually initiated this happening, so I'm very grateful. How many of you have not heard Didgeridoo before live? A few? Well, as the night goes on, I'll share a little bit about the Aboriginal culture and the dreaming, the purpose behind Didgeridoo and how it relates to now. It's actually one of the fastest spreading instruments in the world. And it's also possibly the oldest. It goes back tens of thousands of years. To the Aboriginal people, the world is sung into being. That physical matter is really sound vibration. And the Didgeridoo is a statement of life. If you think back to the time when that very first Didgeridoo was played, it was an announcement of I am. And all of the ancestors and spirits and beings, their Dreamtime stories, all related to the songs and the actions of these ancestors or ancestral forces of nature that then became the land and the animals and the people. So the Didgeridoo contains all of these sound frequencies, ancient sounds of creation itself. That's why it's an extremely powerful and healing instrument. Because the Aboriginal people, and many Indigenous peoples, but really especially the Australian Aboriginal people, lived like it was the first day for 60,000 years. They literally lived in the Garden of Eden. They spent 3 or 4 hours a day actually gathering food, and that was fun anyway, because the guys get to go off together and hunt and hang out, and the women would get to have their kids and pick fruit and gossip and do whatever women want to do. And then they'd all come together at the end of the day. The men would have a kangaroo over their shoulder and cook it up. They'd all sing and play and dance. So a lot of their life and culture was really about inner growth and relationship to the land and to each other and to the cosmos. And they had a very extensive initiation rites all through life. And as they started as an ego, as a small being, they believed the ego is healthy. It's a healthy sense of self. So they never believed in killing the ego or anything. They believed in the ego expanding until it becomes more. So their whole journey through life is about becoming one with all life and expanding that ego until it's all there is. Does that make sense? It's a fascinating and beautiful culture to learn about. The Aboriginal culture, and in a way they were like we were in the beginning, and where we are now is a long way from the beginning. And we think that they were the primitive ones, but really they were the wise ones. They never needed to improve upon nature because they felt it was perfect. They felt that their job was to sustain it. And they sustained it through these rituals and songs and how they took care of the land. And have you heard of songlines before? All of Australia is created by these songlines. Some are only a few miles long, some go right across the country. And they are literally a song of the land and the story of the land. So when they go on walkabout, they would sing these songs, and it would describe the land and the water holes and where the spirit of this animal is important, and why this place must be maintained in the water, and And so their songs were related to the actual physical landscape. So as they went through life, the highly initiated ones could never be lost because they sang their way across the country. And even though there were many different languages, when it would come to the end of one person's territory, another tribe or language would pick up the song line. They would sing in a different language because there was a different landscape, but the melody would stay the same. So the melody, the song would go all the way across. And so literally it's like a web of these songs. It's quite amazing, eh? So when European people came and they weren't allowed to sing their songs anymore and speak their languages and got removed from their land and got inundated with religion and the rest of it, then the land no longer had the power. They were no longer there to be able to keep singing it and maintaining it. Because a way of singing to something is giving it reason for being. By acknowledging, when we acknowledge someone, we give them reason for living. The worst thing that could happen to Aboriginal people would be banishment from their tribe. That meant no more belonging. When there was no more belonging, they didn't want to live anymore. They'd go off and die. So it kept them from breaking law because they all wanted to be a part of the land and part of the tribe. They all wanted to belong. So there was very little need for punishment often and things because everyone understood the truth. So thank you for letting me share that with you, and maybe I'll share a little bit more. And I'm going to be drinking a lot of water. Anyway, this first one I'm going to do is I'm just going to play Didge for a while. Let go of my day. I encourage you to do it too. We've all been thinking about life and stuff. So as you come here, relax your body, let go, breathe, listen, and see where it takes you. I'm not in any hurry. I'm going to do a nice long one for a while and just play around and let you hear some of the sounds. Would you like me to show you a little bit what I'm doing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, to get the drone, the main note, just blowing like this. When you put your mouth inside and do that, that's the sound you get. And then by changing the shape of your mouth and moving your tongue, you can create these harmonic overtones. It's kind of like if you be the wind, like that. Thank you. I know I'm going to be soaked by the... I'm doing that. And then you can start to sing through it. So when you do that note and then you start singing, you can sing all different scales, Middle Eastern scales, blues scales. So you sing through it, right? So you're using your voice. Then you can do things with your cheeks, with your tongue, and you know, like ticka ticka ticka, grrr, giddle 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 giddle. Right, so then you create rhythms with your breathing patterns. So if I do. So then as you create these rhythms and you start to use your tongue and your cheeks and you start singing, away you go. You start building these layers on top of each other, and that's what takes you and the listener on a journey. And even though you practice technically all the time, really Didgeridoo is about listening. I hear the sounds on the inside, or they come from somewhere, and as I listen to it, I've trained my body to be able to produce the sounds. So it's a form of channeling, and I was very blessed with Didgeridoo because I have a small amount of Indigenous blood and I have Aboriginal relatives. When I was a teenager, I started spending more time with them, and then Didgeridoo somehow it was meant to be because some master friends and family taught me, and then I'd only been playing for a week and I could hear the music inside. And there were these little limestone caves on the Swan River in Western Australia, and one night I went in there into this little cave and I had this Didgeridoo just given to me by my uncle, and I started to play, and then all of a sudden what I was hearing came through, and something bigger than me started playing me. Like it was like the spirit of Didgeridoo, and then a veil lifted, and it was like I remembered myself as a master from thousands of years ago. Or it was like I felt like I was the original Didge player. Like it felt so natural to me, and I realised that it was what I was meant to remember in this life and begin to play for people. And after that it led me to the truth through this instrument, through breathing, through listening to these sound currents, and as I would listen to the sound current, revelations and understanding, self-realisation would begin to happen. You know, it's funny because when I was first playing Didgeridoo, 1990 or so, hardly anyone was really playing, especially outside of the Aboriginal culture, at all. You know, it was still a novelty, really, to most people. And an elder initiated, hi guys, an elder initiated me into healing with it, to start playing it on people. And the elder told me that the didgeridoo would spread around the world and everyone would start playing it, and when they did, it would bring us down to earth and it would help us remember the truth, the dreaming, the law of one. And we would remember and heaven would return to earth, or be on earth. This is what she told me. And in 20 odd years, this instrument has just exploded. There's something like 30,000 plays in Germany alone, in Japan, everywhere in the world. Like it's unbelievable. And when I first came to Canada, hardly anyone was playing. And in fact, I took it into a lot of communities that had never seen it before, a lot of them. And now, you know, there's 5 or 6 of us in this room who play Didge. And it's being played in all different styles, like psytrance, like, you know, it's come from a traditional style of playing, where it was played to describe and empathise with the Australian bush and the animals. Right? It's like an instrument of mimicking nature, and they would play, reflect nature, and say, like, I'll demonstrate. Like they do animals, right, through when they play traditional. So for example, like kangaroo hopping, it'd be like.
You realize that how beautiful you are playing. You say the kangaroo. Also, how you play the note, do, re, mi, fa, sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol, and then all of a sudden you go ahead, sol, la, si, do. You know, with the tone, I mean, I could feel also the vibration of the animal and the vibration of the tone of the music itself.
Yeah.
Which has something very, very amazing.
Yes, it is.
It really, you know, it really touches me that way, especially that way you play. I haven't seen anyone as good yet. And you really something else, because it really gets on the connection of the tone of the music itself. And it's beautiful.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I don't believe there's a best in the world, because it's all the spirit of the Didge. It's the dreaming. So when you're channeling the dreaming, it will come through you, everyone uniquely. So there are many masters, and each one plays their own style the best. No one can play what you do like you. So it does take a long time to practice and to perfect it. You want to hear a few more animals and stuff?
Yeah.
You know the kookaburra, right? I try, my throat's not the best, but... If you do like, you know, emu, they do this like throat sound. Goom, goom, goom. And then like wild dogs and different things. And so they'd act out dances, and when they do the dances of the animals and everything, they'd have the Didge player. The Didge player would be playing the animals as they're coming in, and the dances, and so they tell stories through the instrument. Right? So like a boomerang, you know, they're throwing a boomerang. So you can do all sorts of stuff. You can talk through the instrument. There's one of my big influence teachers, or I never met him, but he was the first real Indigenous master that influenced me, and his name was Alan Dargan. And he's a legend, he's passed on now, but he started playing at 2, Indigenous player. By the time I heard him, he was, you know, 45, 50, and he was just something else. I couldn't believe what he could do. But he would do this one piece called the Hitchhiker, where it's someone's on the side of a highway and they've got their thumb out, and you hear a couple of cars go past and ignore him, and then you hear a truck come along and slow down in gears, and the truck driver leans out and says, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" And he says, "Oh, up the road, up the road." And he says, "Okay, get in then." And he says, "Thank you, thank you." And then you hear the truck go up through the gears and he'll toot his horn as it goes up the highway. So I'll try and do Alan justice for you, just to demonstrate that there's really no limit to what you can do through this instrument. So now that we literally have 100,000 Didge players in the world, and who knows how many now, and it's branching out into all these different styles of music, leaving the traditional roots in Australia, and you know, people have their different story and they have different backgrounds, and so now it's gone into all these other styles, you know, electronica and all the rest of it. But from that original Didge, that first one that was played, all of the 100,000s of Didges and anywhere that you play all over the world, it's all connected to this source. So the Didge itself is evolving into new songs and stories. I realised one day, and I was so happy to, because I struggled with the label of being a master, and it kind of felt like pressure, and I felt like I had to be perfect all the time and know everything, and I deep down knew I didn't. And when I realised that it doesn't matter if I play for 1,000 years, there's still more, because the actual instrument is discovering itself continually and forever. So I realised I'm forever a student of it, and forever just listening to what it can teach me. When I realised that, I was overjoyed, because that brought back all the fun of like when I first played, that first year or two when I just couldn't put it down and just wanted to play all the time. And it changed my life, because I remember, yep.
Are you the original owner of your instruments? And my other question is, like, do they get passed down? What happens to them?
Some of them do, for sure, get passed down. These are all mine. I made this one. My brother made these ones back home. He's a great Didge player himself and a master Didge maker. Yeah, but they do. The first healing I ever did was on a Didge that was over 100 years old. And in New South Wales, one time I was fortunate enough to play one of what they call these 7 sacred Didges. And one of them came to me and said, it wants you to play it. And when I did, as soon as my mouth went on it and I started to play, it was like the world disappeared, and I just became entranced in this sound. And it was so enchanting that I literally had to pull my mouth off it to stop. I almost felt like I was just going to lose myself in it forever, and then I stopped playing. It was so powerful. So Didgeridoo's coming with all different types of woods and things now, and I'm happy to play them all. I love all the different sounds. But my heart is with the eucalyptus yidakis, because they come from the land that I come from. They're created by termites that eat through the centre of the tree. They're made by nature. They all have their own unique voice. You know, now we put them in C and D and all the Western scales, but the actual traditional Aboriginal instruments weren't. They had their own scales and sounds that were much more in tune to the Earth's frequency. That makes sense? Yeah? Thank you for listening, guys. I'm just going to change it up a little bit, just to give myself a little rest from throat. And I also like to chant. After playing Didgeridoo for a long time, lo and behold, I started to hear these other sounds in my head. Thank you. Yes, please. So then I started to sing these other languages. Sidne le amma mame Sidne le amma Sidne le ya amar al Sidne le ki amar du Sidnelle chiamerà, Sidnelle amamo, modo al. Sidnelle chiamerà amare te. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Chiamare amare te oh sud no 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 sud no le chiamate sud ne ye mama nine 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 siamo momo sud nelle Adnelle chiamare amare te Sidnelle chiama, Sidnelle amamo amamo Sidnelle chiama di te Sidnelle amare di Maduna, Maduna, momo. Yeah, yeah, momo. Samadala, Samadala, Amadal. Sing that with me. 9999999 9999999 you. Any questions or anything?
What's the box?
It's a Shruti box. It's from India.
There's no vodka.
Thank you so much. Hey?
There's no vodka.
Probably doing some actually. I like beer actually. Being an Aussie and everything. I often tell people, we go from the breast to the beer. We've got to grow up on it. So usually, say don't worry about money, just hand me a cold beer and I'm happy. People who know me know that, they just kind of keep pushing beer to me.
Can you briefly talk about that last piece that you played?
Yeah. It's just, in doing healing, I've done healing work for 20 years. And if everything is sound vibration, first it was the word. word has shape. Right? So all the different languages, they have a consciousness behind them. So when we're all speaking and thinking in English right now, so there's shapes and they have frequencies, and so when we think that way or speak that way, we create our reality. And because we all create a collective reality through these languages, so languages are connected. That's why all the different cultures, different skin colours, different languages, different landscapes, different foods, right? The language is connected with the culture. So what I've come to realise is our world is becoming more dominated by the English language. So it's like it's creating this reality. When I started to hear these other languages, and there's a number of them that come, I realised that they predate the other languages. It's like all the other languages come out of this primordial language. And at the start I was kind of thinking, oh, people just kind of think I'm wacko for doing this. But the more I meditated upon it, the more I did it, the more I realised that what these languages do is like they break down that thinking, and because a lot of our DNA up to now has been dormant. Scientists call it junk DNA, if you can believe that, saying that it's got no purpose at all. Well, its actual purpose is for now, when humanity is going through an ascension. We're going through an ascension. Do people know that term and are aware of it? Yeah. And there's a reason why all of us are here right now, tonight. So this ascension is the awakening of this dormant DNA. As these strands of DNA are connecting, we're remembering more of our divinity, that we come from all sorts of planets and star systems and worlds, and we're all actually eternal beings. We're all actually ascended masters. We're all actually come here on this planet to ascend the earth and to bring heaven here. So what I realize is these languages are like awakening the DNA, the dormant DNA, helping us remember our cosmic origins and our true life purpose. What I found with healing is we all have a dreaming or a dream, a purpose, a reason for being. Nothing is created that it does not have a reason. Everything in nature and every single one of us. We may have forgotten and we may deny it and we may not know who we really are, but we do have a purpose. And what I've found is that when we don't live our dream, for whatever reason, we become diseased. When we live our dream and follow our passion and do what makes us happy, we are happy, healthy and whole. The ascension, and part of the ascension is as each of us remember who we are, that we're eternal beings, that we're actually pure consciousness, that our body and all of this is a dreaming. As we undo the programming of religion and government and all of the things that's been shoved down our throats for a long time, and we remember, we're literally changing reality, and we're singing new languages, and we're creating a new reality. When we all realise that, there'll be no more greed, there'll be no more need to compete, because each one of us is the source. Each one of us, as all the masters have done, can manifest right in the palm of our hand. Whatever we desire, that's what the ascension means. It'll mean that we can travel through thought. That if I want to see my parents in my living room in Australia right now, I'll sit here and I'll meditate, and then I'll be in the living room hugging them. And I won't need plane tickets and visas and passports and anything like that. This is where we're heading, eh? No more disease, no more aging. It's all an illusion. Death is an illusion. We never died, we never did. We played the game because we're eternal. Think about that. When you're eternal, you've got to keep on making up things to do. You know, forever. So we've created this earth timeline and journey, and it seems like a long time in linear time, but this is the most special time. Are you feeling changes in your body? Are you feeling things stirring up inside you? You're asking questions and wondering what the hell's going on, because the world seems to be just total chaos. And that's because every hidden subconscious false belief about who we are is coming up to be released. All our pain, all our suffering.
Let me tell you something. Has anybody ever told you what a great artist you are? What a great, great poet that you are. You don't need, my friend, any to read any book. The words are coming out. I read thousands of books, but those words, I didn't find no book yet. You are a natural poet, and you are real natural. You should, write something and leave it behind you, because you're great. And I mean it, you're really great.
Well,
And I have been around, believe me.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's well, if you don't mind me talking, because I'm happy to play Didge and
This is most excellent. We're actually getting to meet you.
All right. Well, the reason why it comes so naturally, or comes through like this, is because playing Didgeridoo, I started to remember, and with the Didge, I remembered I was a master, and that I'd come here for this, and I knew that the earth is changing. I knew my whole life that it wasn't the way it was meant to be. I knew that there was something else. I felt more Aboriginal. I felt like I wasn't white. I longed to be back. And anyway, in 1995, I came to Canada, and these realizations, I had a Kundalini awakening, and channeling started coming. And this channeling, or this force, at the start it was just truth. And then a council of beings or ascended masters announced themselves to me and that they're connected to me. So I'm quite often channeling these ascended masters, or I can't separate myself from it anymore because it's coming from right inside. And in 1995 I had this experience, and it was on Pender Island, and I was with some friends. The sun started to come up, and I started to have these rushes in my body, and my eyes started to shoot up into my head, and I knew something too big for me to stop was happening, and I didn't know what. And so I got up from the beach and I just went, from here to the window of the car out there away. So I wasn't far from them. I sat on the beach. My breathing was very excited. I knew something big was happening. The sun was just starting to come across up above the water, and my inner voice said, "Circular breathe," because I was, excited. And the voice said, "Slow it down." So I just started sitting there, and the voice said, "Look at the sun." So I started watching the sun, and then and I just kept focusing on slowing it down and quietening the breath and quietening the breath and quietening. And as I'm watching the sun, it became this white spinning disc. And then these bands of colours started to just emanate from the sun in greater and greater rings. And it was like, the colours of the rainbow, I guess, just each one. It got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until this world was gone. And all I was in was the light of the sun. As I reached this point, it was like stillness or silence. And I realised I reached this absolute bliss, ecstatic state. And I realised that I wasn't breathing anymore. I was in this breathless state. It was like I realised breathing was an illusion, that I was pure consciousness. And I sat in this for a long time, and the voice spoke. It said, "Beloved, you this is who you are. You've been millions of lives. You lived all through time. Reincarnation karma's over for you. You're free. You can go wherever, whatever world, whatever plane of existence you want to go." And when I was there, what do you want to do? Was the question. And there was only one answer. I love the earth. I love it here. I love my family. I thought of everything, and I just said, I want to go back, and I want to be on earth until everyone knows what I know right now. And then the voice said, "Breathe." And then I started to breathe through a nose again, and the colours slowly went back to the sun. And by the time I was finished, the sun was right above me. So it wasn't like 20 minutes or a half an hour. It was 4 or 5 hours of earth time gone in this plane. And when I was back on the sand and with the body again, I turned and my friends were gone. And so I kind of reeled my way back to the house, because at that point I was, my mind was completely blown, and I was trying to process what had just happened and what it meant. And so when I got to the house, they all were kind of shocked to see me, and they kind of all looked at me strange. And then one of them stepped forward and he asked Shine what happened. And I said, I don't know if I can really talk right now, to be honest. Like, I don't know what to say. And he said, you're going to think I'm crazy or we're crazy, but I never took my eyes off you and you disappeared. You vanished. I just saw rocks and beach and sand. We all did. We all kind of freaked out. And you were gone, man. We came back home. There you are. I didn't go anywhere. All I did was my vibration went up and up and up and up and up until I was no longer visible in a third dimensional plane. That's what Ascension is. I ascended. I went all the way, and I come back. So ever since then, it flows out of me, mate, because it's my every cell. It's the truth. It's simple. So it comes through effortlessly, just like a plane. I just listen, like I listen to Didjeridu, I listen to those chants, or I have a desire to speak the truth and share the truth, and it comes. I'm no different to anyone else. I'm no, this story's not about me, hey. This story's about us. This story I share, not for me. I couldn't give a stuff about telling anyone, to be honest. I only share this because, that's why I have conviction in what I say, and why I know without a shadow of a doubt who we are, where we're heading, and what's ahead of us. And I promise you, I swear to God, the golden age is coming. The time where we won't have to work for the system and do a job we hate, and live where we don't want to live, or for anybody. We will all know the truth for ourselves. We will be self-sovereign, self-governing, enlightened beings. Soon we will meet our star brothers and sisters who have been here all along, and who are waiting to come and meet us, help us clean up the planet. Very shortly after that, the ascension of Earth, once we all realise that we're all allowed to have it and we're free, we're no longer slaves, then the ascension of Earth happens and we'll all move up to this plane. Because one promise that was given to me when I was in that place was, I said, no one's going to be left behind, right? No one. I don't give a stuff what they've done. George Bush, the Pope, a murderer, a pedophile. I don't care, because they're a part of me. I'm part of everything. So if you're God, you're all of it. The devil and, there's nothing else. So that it was simple. It said, well, how can anything be left behind when I am it all? I said, done. Came back. So that's why I know what I know. I'm always very grateful when anyone listens to me, and I know that you know the truth for yourself. You don't have to believe me or anything. Ask yourself. Ask yourself what it is, who you are, why you're here, what do you love to do, what do you want to do, and figure it out for you. But I know we're all infinite masters, and I know that we can cure and heal any disease. I know that we can all be as the masters have been all through time, and do the miracles, or what we call miracles, that they have done, through simply recognising the truth and acknowledging it. When Jesus or any of the masters did a healing on someone, they didn't make a healing happen, they just recognised the truth. That's why it was instantaneous. If I'm doing a healing on someone and I'm trying to fix them, it means that I believe that something's wrong with them in the first place. A true healer never heals anyone. A true healer just acknowledges perfection. And that's all. And by doing that, perfection arises. That's why the masters could do it. They would just help someone, because we all have these beliefs that we're separate and we're sinful and guilty and not worthy. And That's what creates our pain. And so he would say, I forgive your sins, meaning that you're perfect, no matter what you've done. You're the son or daughter of God. And he would have such a power and presence that their self-illusions would move, and then their disease would be gone. When we all know this, we won't let one human being go hungry or starve, because the greatest resource of all is every single one of us. We are all infinite, powerful, powerful beings. So when we realise it's in our best interest for all of us to shine and to be divine masters, what a heavenly world we all get to live in, right? So then the future will be like in the Aboriginal culture, where no one is denied the truth. Their initiations from when they're young to old age is always with a view to help someone see the truth. The truth is never withheld, not by an elite group of priests or anyone to hold power over people. The truth is the truth, and it belongs to us all. When we come back to that, and we will, as we're all waking up, it'll be the dawning of the golden age, and it might not look like it now, but I think we're going to see it very soon. So thank you very much for listening to me. I'm going to play a song now, and you can mull that over. Maybe I'll try a different ditch for you. Try this one.
Are any of these hollowed out with the, you said the termites or whatever, like the natural earth tone?
Yep. They're all hollowed out by termites.
They're all?
You go into the bush and you find them. And they're not just anywhere, like you have to know the areas where they are and know how to recognise them and everything.
You know how you said some of them are tuned to a particular thing. Are any of these not tuned?
No, these are all pretty much in key because I play with, but I have some that aren't. I have some that are more from personal playing and stuff. Because I like it. C in Western scales, what they call 440, right? It's like C in India is like 436. In Africa, a C in Africa is different again. C in Australia is different again. If you look at rhythm and tone, rhythm kind of moves this way, to me, because it's moving in time, rhythm. It can get louder or quieter, but it's moving forward from the past and the future. Tone, can move forward because you're singing time, but it's almost more vertical. It's like a string, right? But wherever you stop on that string is a note. Right? It's just those scales and those starting pitches are just, you create those melodies, but there's no place on the string that's wrong. Once you understand that, you can break the rules. You can make whatever you want. And that's what I understood with the chants and the languages is I don't have to. We've all got our own unique tone and voice, right? So we all have our own real language. It's amazingly powerful because sound is creation and thought is creation. So when you be your own unique self and you begin to sing or chant your own language or song, you begin to create your reality, your dreaming. Does that make sense? We've all been indoctrinated or allow ourselves to be indoctrinated. If you don't think for yourself, the world will think for you. Right? So we all have to become the original thinker. Again, reclaim ourselves, truth for ourselves. And then when you start to speak from that place in you, then you begin to create your reality, your future. The indigenous people, when they want to go on hunting or something, they do a corroboree, they do the dances and the chants. They were actually visualising the hunt. They'd dance the hunt. They'd be the emu, they'd be the kangaroo, they'd do the chant. they've done it, they do it over and over again for a few hours. They go out into the bush and exactly what they chanted, what they envisioned. So they were never afraid of not getting food because they knew that they sing it. They sing it to them. And if your culture's intact and it's never doubted itself and it's always worked for 60,000 years, then never once are you going to believe what you sing won't come to you. The Irish knew it, the Gypsies knew it, every single culture for all time have known this power. The power of the thought, the power of the word, these sounds. So we're creating a whole new world, so that's why these new or cosmic languages are emerging. That makes sense? Before I actually play the didge, I'm just having some fun for a minute because of this flu, it's kind of harsh on the throat and so on. Seen these before? These are called osmatois. They're from Ghana in Africa. And these are seed pods. And they're from this tree, osmatois tree. They're almost like a citron fruit. The men quite often use them as tobacco pouches. But for the kids, they put these little stones inside in the string, and they're like the African yo-yo, really. And they're amazing because you learn all about rhythm. So I'll give you a little demonstration of my understanding of rhythm. Right? So this is the pulse, right? When you used to watch on TV and they'd say, follow the bouncing ball? Well, this is the bouncing ball. Now, if I let go of this seed, it'll start swinging around. You saw me doing it when I was playing didge, right? Now, for every 3 shakes, every 3 times my hand goes forward, it hits twice. 1, 2, 1, 2, but it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's actually 2 over 3, right? It's polyrhythm right there. Now if I catch it, right, each one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I catch it and hold it once and then let it go and catch it, I make it 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Right? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? So then when you have 2 of them, I can do, I'll do 3 in this hand. And if I do a 4 in this hand, start moving my feet, and then I'm talking to you. People have heard me say this before, but it's always fun and I always get to laugh. Like this one, I always say to you ladies, see us men can multitask too. Don't think that you've got that all to yourselves. But I found through many years, through practicing sending these thoughts through my body, I've trained my body so that I don't have to keep telling my hands to do this. I'm not concentrating on doing this at all. I've trained the muscles and run the pathways, so now it does what I'm saying. So I can read a book, watch TV, talk to you, look anywhere, and I don't have to control this anymore. It's one of the things that, as musicians, what you endeavour to do is to be able to have that sort of mastery over it. do all sorts of things. You can wrap it around your finger, you throw it up and catch it, you can, so incredible. So I'll try a new one for you. I'll try a more difficult one. I'll try 5/7. I haven't been playing these lately, so the list is, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One. One. So that's 35 counts, 35 shakes for you to do that cycle. So this is how the little kids in Ghana and everything, that's why all of them, they just have rhythm inside them, right? And same with in South America, because they learn the polyrhythm through the songs and dances. Like their feet will be moving in one time and then they'll be clapping and then they sing this melody, and all three, they'll have 3 parts of the polyrhythm. So they grow up learning polyrhythm, it's in their body. All right, maybe I'll play something. I don't know what, I'll just start playing. Oh, got to plug it in. Are you enjoying yourselves? Yeah, you're happy with what's going on? We'll play a little bit longer, and then I think it's an open mic, so I don't know what time we're at or anything. But there's some other really great DJ players. There's some Pamela here from Seattle, and John and Bernard and Jim. There's some really good DJ players here, so you know, don't just listen to me, because you'll hear the way other people do it. Forgive me while I blow my nose. It's not actually easy playing Didge when you're full of the flu. Unfortunately, my throat's kind of starting to pack up on me. It's getting a bit dry and it gets hard to play. I've got some here, thanks. I've got some. I think I've hit my limit actually. I hope you're okay with that. I'm just glad I haven't been coughing and hacking. I'm glad that when I start playing, it kind of goes away a little bit. When I get in the car, I'm going to be...
Just keep playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
You'll have to come back.
You will.
Thank you so much for listening so openly to me and, through the stories and the words and that as well. I really appreciate that too. I've sort of come to accept that talking or sharing is part of a necessary part of it. And for a long time, I just wanted to play. And
It has been a great pleasure having you over here.
Well, thank you.
We really mean it, and I sure look forward to see you again here.
Thank you, mate. You're a wonderful fellow yourself.
Why don't we break here and then whoever wants to do the...
Yeah, it'd be great if a couple of other guys wanted to play a bit for you on it too. And I've got a handful of CDs here.
Yeah,
So I know what a personally thank you for being at a store, but also, I'm sure many of the people in the audience felt like I did. It's so calming, it's so amazing to hear you play.
Thank you very much.
Because your whole energy center is
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks to you. In India they say that when Ravi Shankar tunes up his sitar, he does it in front of everyone before the concert. And people have asked him why are you doing tuning before you're playing. He says, well, I'm not just tuning the instrument, I'm tuning the audience. And in India it's widely recognised that the audience or the listener is very important as much as the musician. When you go to share yourself with someone and if they're not listening, you can't get the words out or you can't express yourself, like there's a block. So this sort of sharing is through everyone yearning, or wanting to hear it or whatever it is. Quite often I find that the playing goes to people or the words go to people. So I am always just as grateful to you and to everyone who ever listens to me because quite often I feel like people are playing me. So thank you. And I want to thank the First Nations people in Canada, and I want to thank the Aboriginal elders and the Dreaming Back Home, for giving me this gift and allow me to be a steward and representative of their wisdom and culture. So thank you to the First Nations people, the original people of this land. So thank you.